And welcome back to the Atmospheric Cafeteria. We have another reading tonight, and we are joined by Oscar. Can't really see him very well. Let's see what we got. Nearly done with my cup of coffee. May go for a second cup. Oh, there's the little gentleman. There he is. Mama's little conduit. Aww. Yes, the angels and the fairies love him. So does the Blessed Mother. Oh, yes. He is so sweet and loved. He's a good guy. Oopsies. He's a good kitty, 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 kitty. Blessing everything can rub his little head on. Yes, he is a typical ginger asshole. So if you have a ginger and you understand typical ginger assholery, this lad does that. You bye. Here's your mama's precious little baby. Those are wise. You perfect. Absolutely perfect. You are not going to be touching those. Thank you. No, what are you doing? Okay. Whoopsies. I'm touching stuff. What are you touching up here? Oh, no. You cannot claw that. Thank you. You cannot claw that. Thank you very, very much. We are not doing that today. Thank you. You are just getting full of it. Nope. Sorry, sir. We're not doing that. You need to... See? Typical ginger assholery. God, I love this cat more than I can possibly say. His name is Oscar Joseph Meyer de Legato. See? Yes. And please don't. Please quit it. So, why do I have that song? Let's Go Crazy. Prince, and it's, Let's Go Crazy. And I have the beginning of it. The dear, to that thing called life. Spirit didn't tell me what we were doing today. So, it's kind of, we had a little talk beforehand, and then who's to say? It's probably, could be, might be something that has something to do with that. We will see. So, Hera, give us strength. He's such a good kitty. Touch my baby. He is. Alrighty. So, I have that like whole, what is it, that beginning of, with the cathedral music and the, bring myself down a little bit. Hey, what are you doing? I said nah, I think not. I think no. Just because I close my eyes doesn't mean you get to do that. Oi! No. I love you. You can stay up here if you're gonna, I'm gonna just dump you off the sofa. You gonna stay up like a good boy? No? Yeah, I don't think you are either. Yeah. We opened up on the world in the 5 of shells. Yeah, we there was no way. No. Anyway. So, Spirit has called us here together to talk about this thing called life. And if the elevator tries to break us down, go crazy. I don't know what the hell that is about. And if the other... Move back. I like I need to take this off, but like I'm cold. So I'm gonna take it off, but I know in a second I'm gonna put it back on, so. Ooh, Oscarino. And of course we have sleeping pugs, so. God, I love a tray table. God, how much I love tray tables. Since I was a little kid. Seriously, tell me you're autistic without telling me you're autistic. I've loved tray tables since I was a little child. And the ones they have now that adjust heights are just like the absolute best thing in the world. Jesus. So, yeah. Ace of Crystals, manifestation and prosperity. And the King of Acorns on the bottom. It's bringing in wealth right there. Because the panda's a rare creature. So someone play your lottery cards. If you have regular numbers, play them. But there's something about lottery cards, scratch-offs. Okay, spirits. So, hang on. Alrighty. And move it as you wig. There we go. So let's see what we've got going on today. We have our campfire sounds going on. And we have new cards. I'm just gonna let myself relax. Let's see what Spirit wants to say. We knock stuff all over the place. About our lives and the lives of others. So what are we thinking today, Spirit? I'm getting ready to shuffle soon. Shuffle up to Buffalo. So yeah. Someday even I will be perfect at this. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay. Let me put this over here so I don't knock it down. Okay, Spirit. What are we doing today? Who are we talking to in the collective? Who are we talking to in the world? Because this will always find the person it is supposed to find. I see an Indian headdress. And I see an organized, something that normally would be a mess, cards falling all over the place, but now the cards are in order. It doesn't mean that there isn't a mess, it just means it's all the cards are in order, all the papers are stacked on top of each other in alphabetical order, and now we can take them off and take a look at the mess that's there. I don't know what the Indian headdress is about. See it long and beautiful though, with white feathers with red. Just traditional of what I would normally be able to, because they're not going to show me anything. Ooh, it's getting cold again. Justice. Oh my goodness, it's cold. Excuse my spoon. Justice. Truth and clarity. And that's in the prayer I do for my readings. You'll sometimes hear it when I forget to do it. And and it goes, Mighty Astaroth, please send your guidance and your wisdom lend. Let my cards and I see and speak in truthfulness and clarity. Let my cards and I see and speak in truthfulness and clarity and honesty as I ask, so blessed be. Justice with the crow, truthfulness. Okay. Okay, let's see what else comes out. Hello, Ernesto. Ernesto Diego. All right, Spirit. What else do we have? Excuse me. The Queen of Shells. If it wants to come out, it'll come out again. Mm-hmm. Bring it down just a little bit more. There we go. a lot of throat chakra energy clearing in the universe right now. A lot of people just speaking up and saying their piece and their truth, whether they're saying it internally to themselves or outwardly to the people that they need to. We have awakening. I feel like she wants to be right there. Awakening. This is interesting. What have we got going on here, guys? Okay. What else would you like to tell me before I read? Okay. Is there anything else that you would like me to know or that you would like to say? Okay. Do you have anything else that you need me to know? I sometimes have to be careful because sometimes things, my tips of my fingers will say, oh, look at the card underneath, but that's not what Spirit wants, because the tip of my fingers are so sensitive that I can touch stuff and kind of tell what stuff is. So I know that that doesn't make sense to most people, but I know that there's somebody out there that will make sense to. So sometimes I have to look at the bottom of the card and make sure that, you know, both my fingertips and my spidey senses agree. And anybody who picks stuff up and gets feelings from it, you'll get what I'm saying. You are gonna get it. You're gonna get what I'm saying. The wheel. Like it's saying. Is that right? How you want it? Like, okay. That's interesting. I got it. Like just like a clock and time. Okay.
everywhere I go.
So So many songs going in your head and they won't go away. So with Justice the Crow, we have truth and clarity. The crow sitting upon his perch underneath the flowers. And balance. With the nature of what was around him. And before, what I saw was when the cards fell, and it was like just the, it just was the piece together. It didn't like splay all over the place like this. It was just the piece together. It was like, everything's in order. It's still a mess, but it's all in order. And it seems like the Justice card is like, yeah, it's a mess, but it's all in order. And this all in order is causing an awakening. Renewal, enlightenment, the peacock, the sun giver. I'm being told the Eye of Ra means something to someone. And a dolphin, the wheel of time. And it's not only the mess that brings the awakening. It's not only the justice of this mess, this mess that brings justice, that brings awakening. It's also that it's like this, is it the awakening brings awakening, or the awakening brings us to a higher self, a higher us, which does give us peace and compassion, and it makes us a strong queen. And now, it doesn't mean we're not emotional. We are 100% emotional. I mean, we've got a lot of shells in front of us, and we have, yes, a lot of different little kind of crustaceans and baubles that we've taken back to our lair. Things that are most precious to us, because at the end of the day, this is ours and what we won. Now, this might not be in a court of law. I mean, it could very well be. You could be winning something that you deserve to win 100%, because that would 100% move you in through and make you the high priestess. It would give you the monetary and move you in through in the King of Swords, which cuts everything out of its way, which gives you all of this. But, that's normal, that's average, this is something that you found peace within yourself. This is something that, even though this mess has happened, it is there, and it's not, it's like, it hurts, but you're still able to get up and walk into the backyard and do the gardening. Does that make sense? He's having a bad dream. Ernie, honey. Oh, he has really, and there's not much I can do about it. I just let him have the bad dreams. It's okay, though. He's safe. There you go. Empty a little bit more. have the Ten of Swords, we have the Ten of Feathers on the bottom. And transformation at the top. So whatever's gone on, you have suffered quite a bit. And that has brought this transformation. And it's like you're at this new part where your view is changing. It's like you were here and here in this doom and gloom, and now you're up here and it's changing. It's like, okay, well, we're here, and now we're up here, and we're like, okay, the view is changing. Yes, it's still a mess. The pile is still a mess, even though it's an organized mess, but we're awakening and we're seeing that we can go through the organized mess. And that's also a point of reflection too, and all of that reflection will bring you into your, and that's another reason why transformation in the Ten of Feathers. We have the Page of Feathers, so it's incoming with the star. You, dear collective, are shifting. So when you go up like this and then you go over like this, you come up one way, and everything else that you could come up this way with this is not going to serve you. So you go here, and then you kind of come over to here and go, ooh, what is this strange spot? And then you come up here where there's another little bit of like, okay. And then you get up here where it's like, oh, okay, now we're on the top, and okay, I can now see down the stair steps, and oh, yeah, that's why I'm not going up the escalator over there. I'm going up the escalator over here because that escalator is not going to serve me anymore. I need to move into my High Priestess. I need to move into my Nine of Shells. And I cannot move in to my High Priestess. I cannot be my Nine of Shells or have my Nine of Shells, which will lead me further on the journey into the King of Feathers. It will lead me into that journey. And that's the journey you're supposed to be going on, because as you go on this journey, you're sifting through that like chaotic mess of papers that fell down. You're transforming, and you're going through these emotions and these devils and these snakes and these different things. And the thing is with snakes is, if you know about them, you realize that, they're actually harmless, unless, of course, the ones that aren't. And if you learn about snakes, you'll understand that snakes in people's houses, they're usually perfectly fine, especially if they've got a good caregiver. So, that's one of the things about transforming and going through your Ten of Swords, is that you look at your past and you see what's going on, and you see the snakes that are there, and you realize the snakes that are your friends and the snakes that aren't. And then you just cut those things out of your life. I mean, sometimes they're memories, and you can't cut out a memory, but you can heal from that memory. And that's the next part of the journey. I mean, you're having this awakening by having an awakening. And when you have an awakening, by having an awakening, that just shifts you. It gives you a shift. Shifts to a higher perspective. It gives you a shift. And shifts bring you into better alignment with your reawakening and ascensions. Because remember, there are many times you're going to be in your high priestess. You can be in your high priestess right now, and then when you're learning your next lesson, you're not going to be quite in the high priestess where you want to be, you know? And then eventually you're going to learn that lesson, heal, and then be in your high priestess again. Exactly. You know, every queen needs a break. And that's the thing. That's the key thing with the Queen of Shells. She's going to be sad and she's going to be tired, but it's that emotion that helps her get better and heal. It's what brings her into the high priestess. It's what brings her Nine of Shells. It's what makes her the king. That's when I need to look up. Sometimes I just need to look at a page, excuse me, and see a reminder. And you know, that's the thing too, because this is taking forever. And that's the thing too, you had to have patience for this awakening to happen. Like, you had to go through this system of whatever this justice is that you had to go through, right? You had to go through that in order to, yeah, I just did something and it came up with the Three of Swords. Yeah, you had to go through your Three of Swords, and you had to take some of these swords, especially that middle sword, out so that you could actually deal with those other two swords in there. So you could get down to the Two of Swords and actually see what was going on. Because at the end of the day, yes, the Two of Swords is blindfolded, but if you do the work, you can see through the blindfold. It's very Elektra-like, if you've seen the movie Elektra. So, I just want to look at one thing. That's right. Okay. That moment when you can't remember something very, very basic that you should be able to remember. Oh my good Lord. I'm telling you now. But that's why we also remind ourselves. And isn't that funny? Because I knew that this earlier was the Six of Acorns was victory, but I couldn't remember it. And you know, that might be something to consider too. When you've been through a lot and you've had justice, you know, you've had an awakening which brings justice, which brings another awakening, which brings you into your queen. You will forget what things are, and you will forget, they're saying like the manners and ways of things. Let me see if I can put it in better terms. Whatever you're going through here, you are going to forget how, you may have forgotten how to human in certain aspects. And that's okay, because this is all a part of learning. This is a part of being on the wheel and being on top so that you can see everything that you need to see. So that you can have that strength that you need to have so you can be above and look down below. You know, insight and focus. Because in order to be on top of the wheel, you have to have focus, because you can get kicked off the wheel at any time. And to have insight and focus on top of the wheel, you have to have the strength. You have to have the strength and the gentleness of an elephant, because an elephant is very, very gentle. Elephants are very, very gentle, and they're very, very strong. And that is what this new shift is bringing you. It's bringing you this strength of softness, and this strength of awakeness, and this strength of your internal femininity that is within the strength of your masculinity. So as I'm going to say right now, this is a very non-binary reading. So You can be for a male, it can be for a female, it can be for a non-binary. You know, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking about, you know, yin and yang and the difference between male and female. And, you know, in society, men are told, okay, you have to be strong. You can't cry, you can't be weak, you can't sew, you can't crochet, you can't dance, you can't wear what you can't be gay, right? And what does that do? That shuts down a man's instincts to have emotion, to feel softness. And in women, we're told, oh, you're just the most emotional creatures. You have no strength. You have no stamina. You're just weak and emotional. And because you're weak and emotional, that means you don't have strength. And what does that do? That shuts off our cues. That shuts off our ability to see the predators around us. And it makes it so that we're not allowed to have the strength we need, so that when we do see people that are going to harm us and we yell and scream, oh, what are we now? Shrill bitch. We all know, you know? So at some point, we have to realize that, yeah, men are... Hi, Ernesto. You okay? The spirit. I think there's a spirit here. So we have to remember that, yes, men are extremely strong, but because they are strong, because they can literally rip something apart, they have to have great emotion. Because having that great emotion allows them to stop like an elephant. It allows them to stop like an elephant before it steps on the mouse. There was actually an experiment about this. And because of that, and because of that, men are then allowed. Why do you want me to say allowed? Okay, so when that happens, men are then allowed to control the strength of their emotions. And when men are allowed to control their strength with their emotions and their emotions with their strength, for the masculine self, they become balanced. Okay? That's balancing the feminine and the masculine. And in women, we are extraordinarily emotional creatures. Even I know that. But the fact of the matter is that we are very, very strong. Okay? And where men, their strength can outweigh their emotions, and their emotions are very big to begin with women, our emotions are very big to begin with, and sometimes our strength can outweigh our emotions, and our emotions can outweigh our strength. So with women, we have to become emotionally conscious, and we have to become emotionally sensitive, and we have to look at our strength that we have and then combine that in with our emotion. And this, and because women can do this, is where men, like the elephant, have to have that extra sensory to go, oh, okay, I have to be gentle now. Women already understand, okay, we have to be gentle now. And having that emotional balance of the emotion and the strength with women they're trying to get it across to me the right way, but it's like stuck. Yeah, I know, right? See, I can't mask the spirits. It takes so much time to mask the spirits. I'm so ridiculous. Yes, women are, I mean, and we all know women, you know, we all can cry at the drop of a hat. But we can also not dry it. We can also be very unemotional too. And that unemotionalness is when you can control your emotions and your strength. It's not that you're unemotional, it's that you're able to see something and be more steady. And that's the same thing with men. When men are allowed to be emotional, that it helps to balance their strength, which helps them to be structurally balanced emotionally and strength-wise. And with women, when we're allowed to be strong, that strength balances the over-emotional that sometimes we can have. I'm not saying every woman is overly emotional, but every woman understands their emotions, and we all understand how high they are. And whether we're talking about crying at a movie or just getting angry, because angry is an emotion too, Remember, when they say women are emotional, they don't just mean we're crying. We're angry. We're pissed off. And yes, we are probably 100% justified. But when we're allowed to feel those emotions, then what happens? We gain strength. And when we're allowed to be strong internally and for ourselves, then we're able to soothe those emotions and pick up those emotions from a better, more logical space. You know what I'm saying? Just like when men are allowed to feel their emotions and they're having a moment where they're angry, they're allowed to let their emotions come in and balance that strength out, okay? So I feel like I can't say what I'm trying to say. Hold on, I'm gonna need a drink real quick. Because I feel like I'm saying it, but not saying it the right way. And now I feel like I'm gonna repeat myself. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Let me get a drink of water. And last little bit of coffee. Okay, we all know in society men are not allowed to be emotional. Some men are. A lot of men are told no. We all know women are not allowed to have strength. They're not allowed to be strong. They're only allowed to be emotional. Which means that women get in trouble because society only perceives us as emotional, which means that that's all that we're allowed to grow up and be. And if you have good parents who let you be the human you need to be, that let you cry and play with you, those parents, then this isn't really an issue necessarily for you, except maybe externally certain societal exterior things. Kind of like when you're not racist, but then you realize what identifiers are and you're like, oh, yeah, I probably shouldn't use those either. Ooh, that's a societal training right there, right? Because that's what this is. Controlling these emotions are societal training. Men have to control their emotions to the point where they're only allowed to be angry and strong. They're, excuse me, wheezy. Take your inhaler, get your albuterol, get your prescription, whatever it is, Ceravent, I don't know, get your prescription, make sure you've got some. Pause this video and go and check now. We will wait for you. Because that way if you've got to order it, you can order it real quick and get it, okay? We want you to be safe. All right then. So we all know, okay? And just like we all know, women are called hysterical because supposedly we're always overly emotional. And then when we're strong and we see the red flags in a guy and we're like, no, sir, I'm sorry, I don't want to go home with you, we're called a shrill harpy bitch, right? But the fact of the matter is that when a woman is allowed to feel her strength and her emotion, that balances everything out so that when she has to be powerful, she can. And when a man looks at her and says, oh, you're being a shrill harpy bitch, she can just look at him and go, yeah, and your point, Vanessa, what is your point here? Like, tell me. And when a man is allowed to express his emotion, it allows him to take the very big strength that he has, because men do tend to be stronger than women. I mean, obviously, not always, because there are a lot of strong ladies out there, but we all get my point. It's all a balance. Then they're allowed to have strength that is strong, that can pick up a rock, but also be emotional and understand that where are we setting this? Are we setting it over here on top of this anthill? Or are we going to just set it over there where it's not going to harm anything? Like, what are we doing? Are we going to throw the rock wherever we are? Or are we going to actually think consciously of what we're doing? And it's the same thing with women and, you know, being able to be strong. Being able to be emotional and be strong means that, you know what, we're not going to really go down that alley. Yeah, I shouldn't have to think of that, but the fact is I do. So it brings like emotional intelligence and emotional strength to the male and the female, and that's super, super important, because that is the strength of the elephant. That is what gets us going. That is what keeps us focused and on top of that wheel, because that's sometimes where you need to be, and sometimes that's where you need to put yourself. You yourself have to put yourself on top of that wheel, that whole wheel of time. And you have to take a look to the right and the left. You have to not get lost in the weeds, and you need that. 8 arms to hold you. You need 8 arms to hold on to the wheel. I swear to God, the hair in my eye is driving me crazy. Because all of this leveling up, all of this shifting up is going to bring the 6 of acorns. It's going to bring the success that you're looking for, that they're saying the dream that you're looking for. So they say you've worked really hard, whoever this is for. Yeah, and you've shouldered a lot of burdens, but you've transformed from them. Yeah. Into the swan, into the star. Something says all that you've been through is leading up to this. All that you've been through is leading up to this, they say. Up to this moment. And this justice is going to bring you reward. And it doesn't necessarily mean monetarily. It could just mean spiritually. Because remember, sometimes reward isn't showing somebody, ha, 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 look what I got. Sometimes reward is understanding that, yep, I got what I wanted. I got what I deserved. I deserved these accolades. And you know what? I don't have to shove this into anybody's face to prove that I'm good, because their approval doesn't matter. And if they come along it and go, oh yeah, you did a great job, I'm going to go, okay, yeah, thank you. Oh, that means a lot to me on the inside. But yeah, great, because I can seek my own approval. Wow. And that brings a great release. Wow. Because at the end of the day, when you seek your own approval, and you're not seeking when you seek your own approval, you clear your own throat. You clear your own you clear your own chakras, you clear your own destiny, you make a straightforward path, you clear, you awaken. You awaken, and you sing, and you sing. And you hold power like a panther. Like a panther. Like a panther. Some of you might have a black cat. I love Black Panther that you call Panther. Pamfur. Panther. It's a great name, eh? 3 of crystals. Take it as you want it. Because we have the 7 of crystals here and the 4 of feathers. And the 4 of feathers is hibernation and taking that time of rest. Why am I I forgetting? Jeez Louise, Martha Elizabeth. That moment when your brain completely and totally melts in front of you. Okay, thank you. Cups. I could not remember the suit of cups, for the love of good Lord. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, because you've got your Seven of Crystals here. And that is options. That is looking at things. That is looking at what's in front of you and deciding what choices you want. And sometimes you have to lay in the Four of Feathers in bed. Not in bed, because you do not want bed rots. But in sanctuary, in rest, which might mean, like, if you can take more vacation time and get paid for it, take a day a week of vacation time and do nothing on that day. If this means that you're going to go to bed a half an hour early and read, do that. If this means that you're not going to go out as much, you're not going to drink as much, you're not going to do these things that are not fulfilling your life and meeting your best purpose, then that's what you're going to do, because that's the point of this rest. You need to find that rest that you need, and if that means not doing the things that are not serving your best purpose, then that's what you need the rest from. Does that make sense? So if you're drinking a lot and you're just sitting there going, you know what, I know I'm drinking a lot and I'm annoying myself with this, then that's what you need your rest from. That's what you start tapering down from. That's what you start looking at your options with. Why am I drinking? You know, if that's what you're doing, confirmation bump, if that's what you're doing, then as you're tapering down or going into a program or making decisions, you're looking at this Seven of Crystals and you're making your choices. Which crystals do I need to bring with me for my healing, and what choices of healing do I have, and what are these things that make me keep doing these things that make me need this rest to heal? I mean, all of that you had to do to have this first awakening that made you have an awakening that brought you the justice that you needed. You know, this is the stuff that brings you your Six of Acorns. This is the stuff that puts you on top of the wheel, and it gives you the strength to look over the things that you need, because without that reflection, there's no healing. So you, my friend, are leveling up. You are having an adjustment to your life. You are, and it's not big things. It can be like a new apartment, which to some might seem big, but to others might seem like, well, you know what, I like this place, but you know what, got some bad memories here and I need to move. You know, all the shit's coming with me, but the environment is going to be different. And sometimes that's like literally all that you need is a different environment to heal. Remember that. Sometimes you just need a different environment to heal. And remember, even in a new environment to heal, it doesn't mean you can't find the bad stuff. It's just you have to want to have that new environment to heal. So if you can stay in your space that you're in, but like you're not going to go out and drink as much, you're not going to associate with those friends who make you miserable. This is all that healing. This is what this part of the awakening is for. It's putting you on top of the wheel, and it's giving you the strength and the Two of Acorns to oversee what you need to see. Okay, it's giving you that strength to fly, to see. Because every once in a while, the wheel is going to have a ticker up, and you've got to be able to go boop with the ticker to get back down on the wheel, and you've got to have the strength to stay on the wheel so that you can see that that friend over there, they told you those clothes don't look good, but 5 other people told you they look fantastic, and these aren't people that bullshit you. You know what? Maybe that's the friend you shouldn't listen to. Maybe that's the friend that you shouldn't listen to. And maybe you should listen to these 5 friends. And then you take that friend out of your life and you ask how you feel when you don't talk to her. And this is what this strength is about, is this analyzation of self. And that's what this new awakening is going to be about. Because as you do this, you know, and mind you, this isn't something you're just starting. This is the kind of thing where You've had this awakening, and now we're not going to keep going up this way up the ladder, because you know going up the ladder that way isn't going to serve you. So you're this part on the ladder, you see a ledge, you go on the ledge, and then you realize, oh, there's a little ladder there, so we're going to go up the ladder there. We're going to go, okay, yeah, this is better, but no, so we're going to go over there, and we're going to stay here for a minute. And staying here lets us walk this way. It just lets us walk that way, because there isn't another ladder right now that we need to go up. What we need to do is sit in our four of feathers and heal. We need to look around us. We need to be on top of the wheel for a moment. And being on this smooth surface going ahead is being on the wheel. It is being able to clearly see forward. I'm reminded of the Barbra Streisand movie, On a Clear Day You Can See Forever. And that's exactly what this process is going to do. You know, this is that whole process. You know, you're here and you're moving through this. And as you're, you know, and as you're on this straight thing here, by the time you get to this straight thing, that straight piece where there's no ladder to go up is your Six of Wands, is your Six of Acorns. That's your success. That's your 12-point buck right there. And because of that, that is, okay, this Six of Wands, this plateau that is this Six of Wands, which is victory, is underneath. It goes like this. Okay, so this is your Six of Wands, and this is your wheel, the wheel, okay? And the wheel has a ticka, 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 ticka on top, okay? Ticka, 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 ticka on top. But because you're elevating, you're raising yourself, and you went up the ladder, said no. You went over this way, went and you went up this ladder and went no, and then you went over here, and you got on top of the wheel. And there's no other ladder over here. There's no other ladder. So now you're on top of this wheel. And there really aren't a lot of tickers, okay? It's just if a bump comes in, okay? If a bump comes in, you fly up. And then the Strength card comes in and you have your feet planted firmly. And you are able to walk across. You are able to walk across this wheel, because that is where you are right now. That is your position and where you are supposed to be at this point in time. Okay? This is where you, all of this is where you are right now and what you are and what you're in. You are in your victory. You are in justice. You are in balance. You are in clarity. You understand truth and clarity. You understand intention, and you understand that, yes, it might look gray ahead, but you understand you can make choices. You understand that there are things that you might not necessarily understand what's in the gray and the mist ahead, but you're not afraid of it because you know that the wheel is there and your spidey senses are active. You also can see further enough ahead that you know that, you know, if you have to get, you know, a jump in, you can, because that's the point. You can jump and then land solidly. It's a balanced strength, yes. That's because you balanced your strength. So you've balanced your masculine and your feminine and your masculine. Whatever this is, you have made that balance. You have made that balance. You have slid in there. And if you're non-binary and this is referring to you, it's because you yourself have found that balance within your body that you need. You have found your Venn diagram of non-binary, however that is, however your masculine and feminine are falling, that is what has been your realization of just how feminine and just how masculine. Does that make sense? Because I know it is a Venn diagram, and that's all that this is. You know, there's the balance of the feminine and the masculine as equal balance, and then there's the middle part of it where it's the Venn diagram of where am I on it. Not that the balance of it isn't on the Venn diagram, but for this, if we're using male, female, and non-binary, that's where that goes. And mind you, all of this is gender neutral, but there is a balance of the masculine and the feminine. And when you're non-binary, there is a Venn diagram of your balance of masculine and feminine and where you feel on it. And that is the beautiful thing about it. That's the beautiful thing about being able to balance your masculine and your feminine, because then if everybody is allowed to do it, then it's just a whole solid Venn diagram of how much masculine and feminine do I feel. And then nobody has to worry about it, because nobody should. You know, I hate to tell people, but I'm a girl until my Han Solo comes out. I have about this much of masculine right here that makes me want to just play in the dirt, okay? I have enough masculine that makes me not want to put a dress on. And just enough girly that makes me on occasion do it. So Spirit, do we have anything else to tell our continuum right now? Okay, Spirit, is there anything else you'd like to tell everybody? Yeah. All of this brings forward success. Look at that. King of Acorns and Ten of Shells. I mean, this is your destiny. This is where you're on the way to. Because rather than like stopping where you were, rather than going up the ladder, you got off the ladder and started across, you saw another ladder, you started going, and you didn't just stay on that other next level playing where you could have gone down, but you wouldn't have been on the wheel, you would have been behind the wheel, and then you went up again to that ladder, and you could have kept going up, but you're like, and then you got here on here, and you could have kept going forward, but you're still behind the wheel, and instead, actually, I think that's where we were, right? Well, we'll pretend we're going up again. And then you go up again, and then you're on top of the wheel, and you're safe. Wherever you end up, whichever one you decide to do, you're going to just stay safe on top of the wheel, and you have a full advantage of being on top. You can turn to the right, you can see the present, you can turn to the left, and you can see the past, and you can turn sideways and keep going down, and you can see what's right in front of you. And that's a really good view, because that is walking forward into your success. And that is what this point is, no matter what your success is, no matter what you think success is. And remember, success isn't money. Success isn't things. Success is what you value. And when you value things and money, you're going to get happiness because those are happy things, but that kind of happiness doesn't last long. That doesn't bring any of this in. As a matter of fact, that can bring in a lot of different stuff. That just, it falls on a line that you're not on anymore. Because you just don't want it. You're not there. Yeah, you'd rather be emotionally sensitive. Yeah. Yep. Okay, Spirit, do we have anything else tonight that you would love to say? Or are we wishing everybody a fond adieu? The Shaman. And the Magician, the second crow. And you know, crows, 2 for joy. And the Shaman brings heal. healing in the star. And the Four of Acorns. So there is great success in this. There is great success, and this says to me that as you heal, you're going to find that partner, that you may find someone who is healing as well. This could be a friend, this could be a partner, this could be just a buddy, this could be whatever. So and I just heard the word like spirit song, and this is the Spirit Song Tarot. And Spirit wants me to tell you, keep listening to your spirit song, because you can hear your spirit, you can hear your spirit song, you can hear the call, you can hear when, you know, you should listen to your intuition. You know when something is right or wrong because you can feel it. And you can also feel that anxious moment when you know you're doing something wrong, but you're going to do it anyway. Really stop and step back and ask yourself, do I want to do that? How far back am I going to set myself, and am I going to fall off of the wheel? Because you do not want to fall off the wheel. You just got there. Why would you want to fall off now? So make your decisions correctly, and I know that you will. I don't have to say that because we got two crows out here saying that you're not a stupid person. You know, and they're not the only birds either, and birds are not stupid creatures. Birds are freaking ridiculously intelligent. Annoyingly intelligent. I know someone who was babysitting a Moluccan cockatoo, and this was back in the 90s when you had rotary phones, and they went upstairs to find the whole rotary phone dismantled. Not broken, just all unscrewed and taken apart, because that's what they do. They're good birds. It's just you have to be ready and prepared to have that bird for the rest of your life, and yeah, to be ready to shoulder those burdens. And if they're not easy burdens to shoulder. So I'm feeling like that's about the rest of it. Is there anything else you want to say, Spirit, or are we good? All right. Okay, sounds like a plan. Yeah. Five of Wands, challenge and growth. Yep. Five of Acorns, challenge and growth. Keep that roar going, because it's that roar that allows you to hear in the din of where you need to go. It also allows you to, you know, like dolphins and their sonic radar thing. Yeah, because you do that and you've got the whole world underneath there. Look at that. You guys have got a lot of good. You got a lot of good coming because you're willing to put in the work and you're ready to do that. So I really, really love this. And I like this for you, and I hope that you succeed in everything that you are trying to do. So, you know, as I always say, be good, behave, be happy, and be yourself. Good night. God bless. We all love you.